Okay, before we go on to the full rig example, I kind of like to extrapolate on that last example just a little further on kind of this intermediate um, rig. Very simple FK rig. It's not even joints, they're just parented. Um, I'd like to just kind of show an example of, a lot of times what you'll have in animation, say you'll have the character, jumping up or, or something along those lines. So let's just kind of quickly do that example here. I'm going to basically select everything and set a key. Now he obviously doesn't have legs to jump with, but we'll just kind of pretend. And then I'm going to have him kind of come down here. And then we're just going to go to the same amount of frames. And we're going to move him up. Oops. So let's say that's his jump. All right. And then again, we're going to select everything and key it. And then he's going to come back down to here. Now, if we play it, it just kind of looks like he's jumping up in the air. All right. So what we would do, because this obviously looks really stiff and there's absolutely no life to it all. It looks kind of like a machine, right? Like maybe this was some kind of if you've seen Wall-E, kind of like a take on Eve, where it's just like this flying torso kind of thing. So to get some looseness into this, we're going to take some of these frames. So as it goes into this anticipation here, we're going to want him to bend forward. So now he's coming forward and then jumping up. So now you can see it's starting to loosen up a little bit. It's getting a little more organic in the motion. All right. So then what I want to do here is, because he's still kind of coming up here, we still want him to be bent a little bit forward. And then as he comes down, he can overshoot. Maybe here he's bent back a little bit. All right, so now if we play this back, all right, so we're getting that, that flex in the spine. So now let's give him a little bit more air time. So as he's coming down, so he's kind of coming down, so we want to have him maybe right here. We're going to select all, we're going to save a key. Then we're going to go to this frame. I'm going to add some in-betweens here. Just to give it a little bit of, hang time while he's up in the air. So now, as he's going from this pose to this pose, you can actually start to straighten out. And then what we'll do here is we'll have him, as he comes down, we'll actually have him overshoot a few frames. So he's going past his end frame, and then he's going to come back up. So then we're going to select all these frames, all these objects, select this keyframe, middle mouse drag, and then press S to save a key. So now basically he overshoots it, and then he comes back to rest here. So then with these guys, he's going to start to come back forward here, and then back up to neutral here. Let's just zero that out. So now when we play it, you kind of get that more of a much more fluid, right? Timing's a little off. I'd probably want to have him actually up here a little bit longer. And then on the drop, I'd actually probably want to take a few frames out of that to give it a little bit more weight. So now see how he's coming down faster now, it gives it a little bit more weight to it. And then we'll add a hold at the end. And then it's a little abrupt the way it ends. So we'll open up the graph editor. Window, graph editor. All right, and let's take a look. Make sure that these tangents on the end are flat. So it kind of eases. See how it just kind of softens that ending a little bit out a little bit more. Okay, so now similarly, let's select all these guys. We're going to delete all these keyframes. We go back here. If that was a rotation forward, so let's same kind of thing as we did last time. If we frame 20 and we shoot him over to the left here like this, and let's open up the graph editor, and we're going to have this be flat, and we're going to have him kind of speed out of this keyframe. Remember, the steeper this curve is, the faster he's going to move, and then he's going to ease into this a little bit. So now if we play this back, you can see how it kind of speeds into the movement, and then it eases out. So what we would do here is, as he takes off, we're going to want to have him rotating that. So, and then even more so. And then maybe we'll select all these guys. This time we're just going to key the rotation. And then as he gets here, you can kind of start to ease off on that rotation a little bit. And then as he stops, he'll actually overshoot the opposite way. And then come just past center, and then back to there. So you can see how it gives it flexibility. These objects, parts of the torso, aren't arriving at the same time. That was kind of like when we had it, before we added any rotation to these guys. It was just very stiff and mechanical, sliding along one axis. But you add this, the flexibility, and that's one thing I see a lot in animators just starting out is they really neglect the torso area, getting that, that bend and flex and twist and stuff in there. So, all right, I think I just wanted to give you another little example to just, try to make this stuff clear, and, not only in tails, but it's also, used in, torso and things like that. So let's move on over to our rig.